know, it's like it came a point where it's like like she loved herself enough to say, hey, look, I'm not gonna let you hurt me anymore. And she loved me enough to let me go and do whatever I wanted to and be victim to my own devices, you know, because that's what ended up happening. Like I'm like bro, I was down bad, you feel me? Like, but you know, that's besides the fact. But really, yes, true love lets go. So I'm reminded of I'll let this truck pass. But I'm reminded of the story of the prodigal son, or the parable of the prodigal son, and like how the youngest son, he was like, look, like, nah, I don't look what you, since you won't go ahead and die, you know, give me what is owed to me, give me my inheritance so I can go, you know, so I can go. So, you know, his father, I mean, he didn't want him to, you know, he didn't want him to leave, but, you know, out of love, he didn't sit there and, you know, try to hold on to him. He gave him what he wanted. And the son, you know, he went off to a foreign land, he went far away, and he blew all of his money. He blew his whole inheritance on riotous living, you know, and he made a whole bunch of friends. He made a whole bunch of, you know, he was living his best life. But in the end, once the money ran out, you know, once the drink stopped flowing, once the liquor stopped pouring, you know, it's like all the people that was around him, like, they were nowhere to be found. Like, you know, like Mr. Crabmean, like, where is everybody at? And, you know, it was a hard time came to the land, a season of like a Great Depression came on the land, let's say that. And, you know, he was working for some farmer, I think, and he was like in the pig sty, you know, he was cleaning up, he was with the hogs, feeding the hogs. And it came a time where he was so low that, you know, even the slop that, even the hog food looked good to him. You know, even pure garbage looked good to him. He was licking his lips at garbage. But that was the point where he saw where he was at. He realized, that was a sobering moment for him. He realized where he was at, and he was like, "Oh no, like I can't be here anymore." So he goes back. He makes his way back home, and, you know, his father was waiting for him. You know, his father was waiting for him on the porch, like looking afar off. You know, the Bible doesn't say that, you know, his father waited there every single day and night, you know, having anxiety, depression. Oh, my son won't go home, my son won't come home, like they won't come to me, like they're out doing this stuff, I don't know what they're doing, and stuff like that. It didn't say that his father had any of that emotional stress. Like, he lived his life. You know, he didn't stop living because somebody left, somebody wanted to leave. And, you know, but when the father saw his son coming home, it's like he ran out to meet him, and he embraced him, and he loved on him, and he put a ring on his finger. He's like, look, go get the finest clothes, like go get the finest robes, like put this on my son, like my son has come home. But his son didn't even feel worthy enough to be his son anymore. He's like, look, if I could just come home and be a slave in your house, if I could just work as a servant. And I don't know. It's like that. A lot of that is like God has the same love for us. You know, he loves us. He cares about us. He cherishes us. But if we keep hurting him, if we keep living in sin, sin hurts God, because sin is going against the word of God and the will of God. So when we sin against God, when we cheat on God, basically, because we're supposed to be the bride of Christ, when we cheat on God, when we go out and serve other gods, whether it be not even just sex, but money, anything that you put above God, when we go out, that hurts him, And God isn't a God. God is not a God that will be mocked. So he will turn us over to our own devices. He will give us this. He will let us go and do the things that we want to do so badly in that moment. But when we come to destruction and we come to the realization, like, hey, like, look, the grass is dead over here. You know, they spray painted this grass green. Like, this grass is terrible. You know, once we realize the grass is not greener on the other side, then it's, I don't know, it's sobering, you know, to know that like we left what was for certain. We left what was sure. Like, the son was still going to get his inheritance. He just didn't want to wait for it. You know, the children of Israel had the land. They had the land of Israel. They had the land of Canaan. But they didn't want to serve God. They just felt like it was supposed to be like this, and I can do whatever I want. I got it, so I don't have to keep it. You know, it's a difference between, like, having something and keeping something. You know, you can have something but not keep it. You know, but, you know, like, I don't know. I don't know exactly what the main drive, hit it home point is for this, but it's the fact is, true love lets go. So, you know, whether you're the one if you're the one having to let go of somebody, whether it be a relationship, I'm learning this. You know, I'm still learning. You have to let people go. You know, it doesn't mean you don't care for them. It doesn't mean you don't care about them. It doesn't mean you have any ill intent towards them, but you have to let them go. And you have to move on with your life. You know, if they come back, you know, if that's your prayer that they come back, then hey, great. You know, like, you know, it's love. Now we can build a new relationship, you know, whether it be a friend, whatever. But if they don't, you know, you can't stop living. You know, you can't stop. You can't let stuff get you in a pit. You can't let stuff get you, well, I can't say you can't let stuff get you depressed, because it gets hard out here. It gets tough out here. I struggle with it. You know, but you gotta fight, and you gotta push through, and no matter how bad you feel, like, you have to still live. You know, not saying don't skip the grieving part, but you still have to live. So yeah, that's true love lets go. So if you're holding on to something and God keeps saying no, but you keep saying yes, let it go. Easier said than done, but, you know, you gotta let it go. So yeah, it's kind of long, but probably gonna start doing more of these, you know, as the Lord says so. And yeah, so love y'all. Hope this is a word. Hope this is a timely word. And yeah, peace.